them over here, but there's some superstars off to the right. And the voice you hear in your head, that's the producer, Danny Okers.
Josh Barnett laying down the drum beat there. I was close. If I didn't have that torn patella tendon last year, I would have started slowly shimmying into some moves. It's going to be a fun show today, folks. Go ahead. It's going to be a fun show today, folks. We have Josh Barnett in studio with us, former UFC heavyweight champion, longtime contender in the heavyweight division across many of the top organizations in the world. Kazushi Sakuraba, UFC Hall of Famer. Urijah Faber, former WEC featherweight champion and longtime bantamweight contender in the UFC, as well as UFC Hall of Famer. All three will be in our studio. We'll also recap UFC 228, which took place this past weekend. Tyron Woodley held onto that belt against Darren Till. Might have put forward one of his best performances ever. Certainly his best title defense. So it's going to be a fun show here on the MMA Junkie Radio Show. Stay close. We'll be right back. We're going to crank this thing up.
Now there's still 20 seconds.
We're going to crank it. We're going to crank this thing out. Yeah. That was on air, right?
It's just an awkward, it's just an awkward 20 seconds of Dan trying to continue things.
Yeah.
Coming up at 10. Stretch it, Dan, stretch it.
Yeah.
Stand by.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMA Junkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is going to be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Go. This is what we do and why we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMA Junkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communications stranglehold.
We have control of transmission.
Stitch has...
With the use of MMA Junkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMA Junkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMA Junkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Race and Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMA Junkie Radio Show, the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes. He's our ace co-host. To my left, it's the fight analyst, Dan Tom Backey's producing, as always, Danny Otto, and sitting to my right, we have one of the top heavyweights to ever do it in our game, combat sports legend, because he's also done the pro wrestling scene. I'm talking about Josh Barnett, former babyface assassin. Now he's a War Master. What's up, Josh?
You know,
long time no talk, man. How you been?
This is true. Flew in here to Vegas, and I was thinking about. I remember doing an interview, I think, with you guys at the Long Beach Pyramid, like a jiu-jitsu thing.
Yeah.
we did that. The Affliction days too, right?
Yeah, we did like a Name or something like that.
Name,
We were able to get him on.
Yeah.
But I was just telling him before the show started, I told him Sakuraba is my favorite fighter of all time.
Yeah.
And I never thought he'd ever be in here. I told him how much it means to me to have him here. Because he used to give us the time of day back when nobody really needed to. Like, we used to book him through MySpace.
Yeah, that's
so it's
true.
cool to finally get him in here.
You should have seen my top 20.
Who was it? Who's on it? Give us
I,
two.
I don't recall anymore.
You look like you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I mean, round is usually a shape. But
no, seriously.
I've got my fight team that I've been working with. We're on quite a roll, amassing victory after victory. I had Alyssa Garcia and Victor Henry in Japan, both winning by knockout in their fights at Deep 85. Then my amateurs have been on a tear as well. I got Johnny Robles, Mary Almario, and Juan Soto. They all won their matches just last Sunday in Studio City. So keeping them on the mats, all fighting hard and training, and then finding time to like pick things up and put things down. That's been pretty important.
I've always known you as kind of a chill guy, even when it comes to your own fights. But does that change when you're a coach?
Yeah, it's way more nerve-wracking because you've done all the preparation that you can, right? And then it's out of your hands. And the main thing is you just want that athlete to understand that at this point in time, everything you have is enough. You just got to trust and go for it. Wow. We're getting fraptastic, huh?
Yeah.
They brought him a venti and everything.
Holy moly, man. You're in for the long haul. Yeah. No whipped cream, though. Okay.
No,
right.
that's 300 calories I don't need.
I get it. I feel the struggle. But it's out of your hands at that point, and you just want them to believe. Because you just want to see them give their best capable effort. Maybe they win, maybe they don't that night. You're really expecting victory, but if you can see the best out of them, then you have something to work from to then make improvements and changes and continue on that evolution into their best version of themselves. Beyond that, anything less than that means less possibility.
Yeah, I definitely have always observed you as calm as a coach, intense, very focused. And then recently I also saw you stick up for a good friend of ours too, Jim Ross, at that event in San Francisco. That was not, excuse my pro wrestling terms, that was not a shoot, right? Wait, a shoot's when it's for real.
Shoots when it's
so
real.
That was for real. That was a shoot. It was not a work. Whatever.
It was a moment born out of, I should say it was a reaction born out of a moment. That's what it was.
Jim speaks highly of you,
everything,
so I know you guys are close, man.
Yeah, he's my homie. And when you're down there, even though as a commentator, you're in the trenches with those people. And I was there. He's my partner. So what's good for him is good for me. And I don't know it any other way. And I don't come from pro wrestling maybe as a lot of folks know of it now. Especially on the side, like the workers side, the wrestlers side, and how they've come into the business. That's not the way I came in. That's not the way I was trained as a wrestler. I come from a different era, and we're fighting and wrestling. We're one and the same. Mm-hmm. So we just have a little different way of approaching things. Yeah. And I've been there where people get just flat out knocked out in the ring sometimes for shit that they did, and that's just the way it was back then. Nowadays, I think that you'd have people trying to file lawsuits and all kinds of stuff. It's not the way. I mean, shoots happened all the time.
Catch wrestling's that second meaner cousin to the jiu-jitsu,
Well, it's absolutely related.
What is it? They call it the gentle art?
The gentle art. Well, that was the thing.
I've seen Neil Melanson and Brian Caraway, and those motherfuckers get down.
Well, in that whole thing, that violent art thing, right? Yeah. So I was always being asked, what's the difference between jiu-jitsu and catch wrestling? And so, as I'm prone to do, I gave a very deep and thoughtful and constructed, well-detailed analysis and answer, and comparing and contrasting the two. And then I just got sick and fucking tired of doing that all the time. So I went, well, jiu-jitsu is the gentle art and catch wrestling is the violent art.
I remember
so
that.
I said that. We started making the T-shirts, and then the tagline stuck. But glad it seems to have popularized catch.
For me, I have one more question. I want to talk about Quintet because this is awesome, and it's actually one day before the UFC 229 card that's coming up, and also a lot of our listeners come to town for our annual Junkie gathering, so we're going to be there at the Orleans Arena on October 5th. One more thing, we're not done seeing you in the sport of MMA, right?
No, not
a matter of time.
least.
Can you warm us up to where you may be headed overseas, Bellator, PFL $1 million tournament next season? What's up?
Well, the thing is that there's been a good amount of offers coming in, and sorting through those and finding out which is going to be the best way to sort this all out, to manage that path. now that you're not dealing with a singular agency, you have to figure out that, of course, everybody's going to want theirs to get the most out of whatever it is that they're trying to offer you, and they're always going to want to make themselves first. So how do you negotiate that territory where everyone can be happy and yet you don't feel like you're losing your freedom? In my case, because that's one of the big things is there's a lot out there that I want to do, and if I'm too particularly roped up, it holds me back from trying to end my career in the ridiculous 80s action movie fashion that would make for either a good autobiography or at least a B-grade film.
And by the way, there is a New Japan on Friday, right?
Yes.
I looked at the calendar.
Yes, there is a New Japan on. There is every Friday night at 8 p.m. Me and Jim Ross do the New Japan gig.
Right.
There's also a live show September 30th at the Long Beach Pyramid.
Very cool. Which I think sold out last time?
Yeah, actually, the first time we did Long Beach Pyramid sold out in...
It's incredible, man.
20 minutes.
Wow.
New Japan and WWE and all the other ones that are out there, because I catch Busted Open a lot. Pro wrestling is just selling hard. I mean, they've had quite a resurgence across all of the platforms.
Big into it. I think we need to make more of an effort to just get back into it.
Yeah, well MMA sucks our lifestyle, man.
Yeah, there's so much MMA content out there.
And
it's hard
football and soccer.
We can lose a sport, though, right?
Yeah, we're going to have to lose one. I already lost baseball.
You're not going to lose soccer,
hockey.
though, are you?
No. Why'd you pick that one, Josh? Because we got that Garcia.
I had that talk this morning.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Quintet. Very cool. Quintet 3. This is the first time you guys are in North America. 4 different teams. You guys are going to have 5 per team, and you're going to grapple a semifinal and then a final all on the same night.
Yes.
At the Orleans Arena, October 5th. $43 gets you in the door, folks. And this is going to be a nice prelude to the following night, which is UFC 229. So it's a huge week here in Las Vegas, the fight capital of the world. All right, Josh, you're with Team Sakuraba.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the different you guys have. What I was trying to read on the rules is there's a certain weight limit for all 5 combined. Correct?
Yes,
okay.
right. So within that cap, you can fill it up however you want to. You don't have to meet that limit. You could be under.
So it's not like you need a welter, a middle, a light heavyweight.
No, you could have
distribute however you
any way you wanted to. You could have 5 135 pounders in there if you so wanted that.
Right.
And there could be strategy to potentially having a team that didn't have, let's say, a heavyweight, or maybe keeping everybody in the middle, or maybe having them all being light, because there are differences between, if there's a certain gap in a weight difference that goes from an 8-minute to a 4-minute match. And so it's part of what makes this whole quintet thing so exciting, is that there is this other additional level of strategy and tactics that all plays into it. And I've seen it play out where one team, all they had to do, they got the other team down to their last competitor, and they had 2 left. The guy on one side just needed to, at the very worst, draw with that last guy. Boom.
And they both get eliminated.
And then the other team had 1 left. Great. Instead, he goes out there, guy gets subbed. Now it's down 1-1 now because of it was because of like criteria. The team that was actually originally behind is now ahead, and so the other team had to try and figure out a way to get the submission, and didn't happen. And then so they draw. Now everybody's eliminated, but by criteria, because of the way the matches played out.
Yeah.
The team that looked like they were all completely down and behind and were going to lose won. And it matters on who you put in and what matchups you want to try and create. And so, it's not just about watching grappling. There's this team element that adds this extra layer of tension.
You guys are on a 12-by-12 mat. You explain the weight of the team, and the difference in the weight discrepancy will determine whether it's 1 8-minute round or 1 4-minute round. a submission advances you, a draw eliminates both, and like I say, the two teams will collide. Do you guys know the matchups yet? As far as like the teams, which team's facing who? Polaris, 10th Planet, Team Alpha Male.
Polaris and 10th Planet are facing each other, and us and Alpha Male are going at it at first.
Okay, all right.
I think I have to wrestle all of Team Alpha Male at the same time, so that it's even weight-wise.
Right.
Do you remember what that strategy? What does that strategy remind you of trying to figure out the weights and all that? It's an old school reference.
Well, I was gonna say on MMA DraftKings.
No.
You have to balance a budget. So like if you have like a superstar, he costs you a lot of money, and then the other ones you're like, oh man, I gotta roll the dice with these.
Does that include like lawsuits and everything for the superstar? It's like I
was thinking Nintendo ice hockey. Remember the skinny guys, the medium guys, and the large guys.
Wow, I actually do not remember Nintendo. I remember Blades of Steel. Blades of Steel. Now that game, and then you were just. After a while, you just kept trying to just start fist fights the whole time.
That was the best part.
Yeah.
Josh, okay, so on our show, we try and bridge the gap, right?
No way.
We really do.
You're gap bridgers.
We got big gaps.
Oh.
So here's what we try and do is sometimes we'll get the casual fan that's interested in MMA, but we always get them on a Friday, Saturday.
The normie.
How can I get into this? And we point them to certain fights. You know, here's a good fight if you like grappling. Here's a good fight if you like striking. To kind of bridge that gap a little bit. For somebody who's listening to you right now and says, this sounds really interesting, I just don't know all the rules, is there a match or something that you could point them to that you think would be kind of the perfect starter for them to really get into it?
Good question. I would say try to, well, and the grappling portion of it, there's lots of great grappling matches, singular matches with varying rule sets, but similar enough. The thing about Quintet that really makes it stand out is the team element. Because you can see grappling anywhere, sometimes to your dismay, as you nod off, you know. But with Quintet, with this 5-on-5 element, you're keeping track of these individual matchups themselves, but then you have to keep in mind the entirety of the event itself. So you really would have to sit down and at least just watch one go. It doesn't have to watch like the whole tournament finish, but at least one team versus one team, so you can see how you know, they might be strategizing. Whereas you know, they're like, okay, man, we're ahead right now, so maybe now that the smaller guy's in, we'll have him draw out this guy and eliminate. So you start seeing how people try to plan around how this match is developing on a team level, as well as just individual matchups themselves.
What's the prize? A trophy as big as goes that you guys just get to hold up, or is there a lot of money involved, or what goes on there?
What is the prize? That's a good question. Bushels of rice, you know, a big Kobe cow, you know, like a big A5, like a big Wagyu. And I don't know, a sumo wrestler comes by and he's like your
faces you like
no. Well, no, I wouldn't think that would be much of a prize to most people. You never know.
Well, you get the point to who you want to have it done to.
Well, in a way, you could. It's like the movie My Bodyguard, except now you have a Yokozuna that follows you around.
I love it. We've brought that up so many times, and people don't know what we're
Matt Dillon.
About.
Yes, Matt Dillon. Matt Dillon and
the guy looks like Charlie Brenneman, the curly hair guy.
God, what is that guy's name? Adam. He was on.
It's a classic. I love it.
Yeah, he was on Firefly, I think.
I feel kind of shitty because now that I think about it, I am the size of a lot of Pride trophies.
Yeah, I've seen them. They hold them up.
I was thinking about it, and they go like to about here.
Yeah, giant trophies, giant checks. You know, often there's some sort of guy dressed in a mascot outfit. Yeah. You have no idea what's going on underneath there.
I'm willing to offer my services if you guys just want to pass me around as a trophy that night, and I'll just stand really still.
I think you'd do a hell of a job at it, but I think it'd be better if you were an animated trophy, like you just sort of rotated and smiled and gave a little, parade wave.
I'm always afraid
and maybe pointed and winked a bit. I don't know.
Actually, a lot of the rules are explained, by the way, www.quintet-fight.com. And again, Quintet 3 goes down. It's the USA debut. Here in North America, goes down on October 5th. $43 gets you in the door to the Orleans Arena. We've been there many times. We've called fights there.
Cozy.
It's a great arena that houses about 10,000, but there's not a bad seat. And Josh Barnett is on Kazushi Sakuraba's team. Uriah Faber, who will be here in a few minutes as well. Chris Holdsworth, he'll be back in action.
$43. Nice. I mean, what is that? That's like 6 venti frappuccinos.
Take a girl to
well, here at the Mandalay Bay, it's 2. We charge a lot.
Sure, yeah.
Gio Martinez, I like him from Eddie Bravo's team. He's going to be on the 10th Planet team. And Polaris has Marcin Held, who we've seen in MMA at Bellator and the UFC. Leg lock guy, except no heel hooks, I believe I read.
No heel hooks.
Yeah. Gregor Gracie. So on Quintet, you can see how the bouts are won, the time limits, the prohibited acts, like I mentioned, heel hooks, pile driving, neck crank, sorry, Josh, biting, pushing with teeth. Sorry, Dan, if you were to... No, I'm just kidding. So anyway,
check
it all out. Let me try it one more time. How about 2018? We're going to see you fight in MMA?
That's the plan.
Okay.
Is that hopefully by early 2018, I'll have something lined up and ready to go, and a goal in mind and a face maybe to smash.
Awesome. Well, thanks for stopping by, man. This is really, really cool. It's been great following your career for so many years across all kinds of platforms.
Thank you.
And you and Jim Ross do a great job on Access TV Fights Friday nights.
Well, you guys got your whole setup here now. Obviously, this has been a gradual climb to quite a prominent spot. I got to say, you guys are doing something right for yourselves.
It's way better than our kitchen in Santa Ana, California.
I don't know. I mean, the kitchen's got a lot going for it. Anytime you want to grill cheese, or you need to get some, a handful of cashews, or
at least he didn't say taco. We dodged that one.
Shit, that's what I would be doing.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
All right, folks. We got more guests coming up. Here we got an invasion from the Team Quintet.
Invasion.
Josh Barnett can be followed on Twitter at Josh L. Barnett. We're going to take a quick commercial. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Fight Nation, Channel 93.
Compassion, common sense. These guys have none of that. You listen to them, so you're no better. I am awesome, though. They are Gorgeous George and Goes.
Sirius XM's The Highway and Ram Trucks have your chance to win an all-new Ram 1500. One grand prize winner will drive off in a new Ram 1500 equipped with the best radio on the road, the SiriusXM 360L. It's the newest and most amazing way to experience SiriusXM. For official rules and to enter, go to SiriusXM.com/Ram before September 19th. Online entries only. Certain eligibilities restrictions apply. See official rules. No purchase necessary to enter or to win. All right, from one legend of the sport to another, we have Kazushi Sakuraba here in studio. He's with us at Translator Patrick, correct? Welcome to the show, Kazushi Sakuraba. How you doing today?
Domo.
Yeah, very glad to be here.
Okay, is this mic on? There we go. All right. There we go. All right. Well, it's an honor to have you here. We've been big fans of your work through pro wrestling and mixed martial arts, and belated congratulations on you being a UFC Hall of Famer last year.
今までずっとファンだったので、この番組に出れてすごく光栄なんで、去年の殿堂入りもおめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
Yeah, thank you very much.
Also, you don't understand, as before we covered the sport as media, we were fans. We'd stay up till like 2, 3 in the morning just to watch the final match of Pride, to see what you would walk in with, whether it be a mask or what, because you were very entertaining, and so it just brings back a lot of memories from like 15 years ago for us.
今はメディアとして格闘技と関わってるんですけど、もう15年前はもう本当に一般のファンとして見てて、朝2時3時ぐらいまで起きてて、プライドで登場するときにどんな格好で出てくるのかとか、そういうのもすごい楽しみにしてて毎回見てたんです。
ありがとうございます。
Yeah, thank you so much.
I think it was very important for fighters to learn how much the entertainment factor also meshed with physical abilities, and I think you were one of the pioneers in that.
今の現在のねファイターたちはどれだけエンターテインメントが重要だっていうのがだいぶみんなは分かってきてるんだけど、やっぱ最初の方にそういうみんなに教えてたのは桜庭さんじゃないですかねと思います。
はい、そうなんですか。
He said, really? You think so? Maybe.
Very important, because it allowed us to, for you evoked an emotion like, wow, that guy's cool, or what kind of a mask is he going to wear, or why is he connecting with the fans? And too many fighters sometimes go fight and then leave, and then that's it. You don't remember them. But guys like yourself, we attached ourselves as fans because of your personality and your entertainment, and of course because you were a great fighter.
やっぱりファイターの中では登場して試合してすぐ帰るファンのことは一切考えてない、ファイターたちもいるから、やっぱりファンたちはこう見に来てること、そのエンターテインメントとして見てることを、ちゃんと理解してそれをみんなに分からせたのが、やっぱりその桜庭さんがすごく大きな存在だと思います。僕たちもファンとして、この番組もっと見たいとか、そういうつなげてくれたのはやっぱ桜庭選手と思ってます。
はい。ありがとうございます。
Okay.
He's kind of embarrassed that right now he only has the words "thank you" to say.
Okay. But he can say them in Japanese, and then you can translate them back to us.
But I mean, he's just right now he's just saying thank you again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Quintet 3 debuting in North America, huge. Josh Barnett, one of your team members, explained some of the rules for us. But what made you think of this concept? And I mean, a lot of people are very excited about it. But tell us the birthplace of when you thought something like this might work.
今回クインテット3が、北アメリカで初めて、登場しますし、先ほどチームメンバーのもう一人のレジェンドのジョシュ・バーネットが、ルールを多少して、説明してくれたんだけど、クインテットっていう大会を、どういう思いで作ったのか、その作った時の気持ちをとか教えてください。
やっぱりですね、見てる人が面白いと思って見てくれればいいと思って、それでチーム戦にしたとこもあるんですけども、そのぐらいですかね。
さっきの話も含めてね、見る人、
そう見る人のためにやる人もそうなんですけど、やっぱり見てる方も面白くないとやっぱりみんなが見てくれないんで、そういう意味でもその団体戦っていうのもありますし、やっぱりですかね。はい。
So mostly, he's thinking of what kind of fans, how can we best have a good show for fans for grappling, because grappling can sometimes be a lot less exciting for fans without the punches and kicks and everything that MMA has. So he came up with the idea of, if it was teams, it's a lot easier to get on board to to cheer for a team. Even if you don't know that much about grappling, it's really easy to see the team dynamic and what's going on there. Until now, basically, grappling, BJJ, these kind of events have been for the fighters. The fighters get out there and do what they want to do. But now with Quintet, we're trying to make it so that it's for the fans. We want to put together the fights that the fans want to see. It's a little hard on us old guys, but we know that that's the best way to go.
Okay. For more information, it's www.quintet-fight.com. Remember, $43 gets you in the door. It's October 5th at the Orleans Arena, one night before UFC 229. Come check out the 4 different teams that will be grappling in a semifinal format to get to the finals, and on that night, one of the teams will be crowned the champion. 10th Planet, Polaris, Team Alpha Males, led by Urijah Faber, and of course Kazushi Sakuraba, Josh Barnett. They have a team. I'm seeing Marco Souza and Roberto Souza, and I'm hearing some of the teams might be announced here. Who else is on your team, Kazushi Sakuraba, other than Barnett and the Souzas?
Sakuraba noチームにはあとソーザとジョシュ・バーネットと桜庭さん以外に、最後のメンバーは誰でしょうか？
もう一人どうしようかなって感じですけど、大輔がいいかなとも思ってはいますけど、はい。
So at the moment we're thinking to have the 5th member to be Daisuke Nakamura, who has been on Sakuraba's team in the past. And just like you mentioned, afterwards Sakuraba, Josh, and the Souza brothers.
Okay, and we're excited about your first opponent. Is Mr. Sakuraba going to announce that, or is our next guest going to announce that?
Well, we'd like to announce it when he comes on.
Okay, so we'll do more of the announcements then.
Okay.
All right, Goes, what do you have for Kazushi Sakuraba?
So when you are going through your selection process for your team, what are some of the things that you look at, and is there one intangible that you could say every member has?
チームを選ぶときにみんながその何かを特別なものを持っているというものは何でしょう、この桜庭チームに入るメンバーは。
一番勝つ強いっていうのは当たり前ですけども、やっぱりそのお客さんに見せれる動きをする選手がいいなっていう感じでは選んでますけど。
Well, of course, being strong is, a given. But also, the entertainment factor, the fact that they know how to, make a match that's exciting to watch is really big in the factor of how he chooses.
I love that he tried to touch the American public by doing the team aspect to kind of gravitate towards them. And the one thing we do here in the United States is a lot of our sports have mascots. I would like to nominate George and I to be the mascot for his team, if he feels that he needs that.
He's gonna think we're a pair of bears over here.
アメリカではよくね、チームにはマスコットキャラがあったりするんですけど、僕たち2人はいかがでしょう、マスコットキャラ。ゆるキャラとしてどうでしょう。
ちょっと考えておきます。
Yeah, I'll think about it.
That's something.
I like it. If there's one thing that if he could speak out to the American audience and tell them this is why they should watch the event, what would be that one thing that he would tell them?
アメリカの、見る人たちが、もうなんでクインテットを見るべきかっていうのが一言、的なことは言えば何でしょう。
一言で、まあやっぱりそのなんだこうワンマッチとはまた違う意味合いが出てくるので、やっぱりなんか分かりやすく言うと野球を見てるような感覚で、一番バッターが1番バッター、2番バッター、3番バッターの役割があるじゃないですか。そういうのも含めた感じのそのクインテットの先鋒、時報、中堅、副将、大将っていう順番があるんで、そのどうやってこう人を消すっていうか、先鋒から消していって大将までどうやってやっつけるかっていうのは、いろんな作戦とかも出てきますし、 そういう感じで見てもらえれば、どんだけ強いやつがいてもそいつをどうやって引き分けて落としていくとか、そういう感じですかね。はい。
So it's hard to say in just a few words. Basically, the team concept is huge when it comes to explaining what's exciting about quintet. He likens it to baseball, where you have your first batter, second batter, third batter. Everybody has their own job of what they're supposed to do. There's a lot of strategy comes into play when it's a team. How are you going to take out the big guy? If you can get him to a draw, then he'll be eliminated even if you can't tap him out. Yeah. So there's a lot of strategy involved. In Japanese, the first fighter is called senpo, and so that's usually a really big, a really big job for the first guy. Is whoever's going to be the first guy has his work cut out for him, because he might end up having to fight 1, 2, 3 people in a row. You never know.
That's interesting. I like the baseball reference.
I like that.
ピッチャーばっかり9人いってもどうしようもないじゃないですかって感じですよね。ホームランバッターが9人いってもしょうがないんで、やっぱり一人一人の役割があるじゃないですか。そういうのを考えながらクインテットを見てもらうと、やっぱ体重差がある選手が引き分けでドローで消すことも、要は大将を倒せば今だけじゃないですか。大将まで倒すのにどうやってそのメンバーがそこの大将までやっつけるかっていうのを考えながら、自分の役割を考えながら、やってるっていうのを思いながら見れば多分面白いと思うんですよね。誰と誰かやるからどうたらこうたらじゃなくて、チームとしてどうやるのかって。
So if you have a baseball team with 9 home run hitters, it's not going to be a good game to watch. Everybody has what they're supposed to do. There's different weights. There's different ideas of how to get to the last guy, because the only way to win is to take out the last guy on the opponent's team, the taisho, as he's called. And if we could, we'd like to announce the team matchups.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
all right. What are the team matchups for Quintet 3?
チームマッチアップを発表してください。チーム
はいつもはこう割り箸でくじ引きするんですけど、今回はやっぱり皆さんが見たいものっていうことで、テンスプラネットとポラリスチームで、僕らのチームと、UFC のユライアのチーム、
アルファメール、
アルファメール、はいですね。そっちの方が見たい。みんな見たいと思ってると思うんで。
So we used to just kind of pick, rub some sticks and pick a stick and then see what happens. But this time we wanted to make sure that we had fights that the fans definitely wanted to see.
Okay.
So we have 10th Planet versus Polaris, both champions of Quintet 1 and Quintet 2.
Okay.
And then we're going to have Sakuraba's team, Team Sakuraba, versus Urijah Faber's Team Alpha Male.
Okay.
And so, we've got the fights that the people are telling us that those are the ones that they want to see.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you, arigato, for making that announcement here on MMA Junkie Radio.
I have another question. George and I, we've called fights in Japan. And when we went there, even without knowing the entire history of martial arts in Japan, there's a certain feeling you get when you get to the arena. You feel it right away. This being the fight capital of the world and all of the boxing and now MMA that's happened here, does he get that same goosebumps that we would get in Japan, maybe walking the street and knowing this is where Mike Tyson fought, Sugar Ray Leonard, all these great legends of mixed martial arts, Vanderlei Silva, Chuck Liddell, these people? Does he feel that same way?
僕たち2人は日本では試合のコメンテーターとかやったことあるんですけど、やっぱその会場にいて、その雰囲気をねこう吸収して、やっぱすごくね、そこのいろんな歴史とかいろんなものを感じて、すごいいろいろ感じるんですけど、桜庭さんが今ラスベガスに来てボクシングとかファイタースポーツの一つのメッカでもあるしキャピタルでもあるから、そのタイソン、シュガー・レイなどいろんな有名選手がここでいろいろ戦ってきて、その歴史をとかなんかそういう雰囲気を感じて、どうでしょうか？
もうなんか全然雰囲気っていうか、めちゃくちゃいいですよね。オーラというか、この場所の雰囲気というかがもうすごくいいと思います。
Yeah, the whole atmosphere of Vegas in itself, it just has its own character, you know, and it just got a power that is just completely different to the Japanese atmosphere. So it's very energizing.
Does he gamble while he's out here?
ちょっと爆死したんですか？こっちに来てから。
爆はやってないですね。やってないけど。
No, not yet, not yet.
What game does he gamble on? What casino game?
するなら何をしますか？
多分スロットやると思いますけど。
He'll probably like want to do the slots.
Oh, no baccarat?
バカラっていうゲームあるんですけど。
トランプかなんかのやつ。
バカラ。
よくわかんないですよ。
Yeah, he's not really familiar
with.
So
just the slots?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck. I hope you win some money. Arigato. Thank you for coming to the show to make your announcements. Thank you for all the great fights in your career, and we look forward to your grappling on October 5th.
今日番組出てくれてありがとうございましたと。あとギャンブルするのとも買ってくださいね。はい。
Thank you, sir. Okay. All right. There you go. Thank you, Patrick, for translating. Thank you, Mr. Sakuraba, for stopping by. And we're going to move on to our next guest now so that we can... did you have something?
Oh, yeah. When Urijah comes on, maybe we could announce the...
yeah, that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So let's have you all step aside, please. And then we'll bring Urijah Faber on.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Arigato. Oh. No. We're gonna go all the way to 50. Danny, if you can hear me, we'll go all the way to 50 and then do 5. We just gotta move the guys in and then yeah. If Kazushi wants to stay here,
hear you.
Okay, all right. Can we bring Urijah on, please? Okay, thank you. Favorite? Yeah. All right. We're gonna continue on here. Kazushi Sakuraba is gonna stay with us, and we're now joined by the California kid, Urijah Faber. What's up? How you doing, Urijah?
What's up, guys?
Haven't seen you in a minute, but hope you're well.
I'm doing good.
All right.
Yeah.
So we got the team format: Team Polaris versus Team 10 Planet. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Team Alpha Male versus Team Sakuraba. But I'm also hearing we might know some of the matchups. Some of that might be clarified. Maybe you can help us with that.
So from what I understand, the first matchup is myself against the legend right here, Sakuraba, which you know, I think I've talked about it before, but Sakuraba's always been my favorite fighter. One of my, you know, very favorite fighters since I first started in the sport. I had a 2-hour VHS tape that had all of his fights and just the spirit and whatnot. And I think we both have 19 submissions in MMA fights, which is either number 1 or number 2 in the world for all the combined organizations for submissions. So, man, it's crazy to be able to do this. I'm super excited for it, and it's an honor.
All right. If I can translate. Yeah, go ahead, Patrick. Just speak loud if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. もうずっとファンだったんで、小さい時から見てて、2時間のね、桜庭選手の試合のみの
And I'll say quietly here on October 5th, Quintet 3 invades the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. Get your tickets. They start at $43. It's one day before UFC 229. Goes will be there, right?
I would not miss that for the world.
Yeah,
dude.
and we have Urijah Faber versus Kazushi Sakuraba is the first announced matchup. Is this one of the ones that gets to go 8 minutes?
Yeah, this will go 8 minutes. You know, in theory, me being a 35-pounder and him have fought light, heavy, and heavyweight, you think it'd be a 4-minute, but I think from what I understand, he only weighs about 180 pounds, and I've been weighing as much as 165. You know, usually about 161, which is big for me. So it'll be an 8-minute match. It'll be a chess match for sure.
Leading that retirement life, huh, Urijah?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I carry it well. I was always, you know, in the later part of my career, I was getting up to 58, 60 on a regular basis, and so I can still get down to, you know, I may weigh in around 152 or so. I'm not sure. Whatever I feel like cutting on the day.
Urijah, you've done some things in your life that you probably never imagined you would ever get to do. Even with all that said, grappling with Kazushi Sakuraba, doesn't that still kind of make you go, wait a minute, what? When you're reading that text or getting that phone call?
Yeah,
is there a limit to this?
You know, I don't think there's a limit to anything, obviously, but if you would have told me back in the day that, first off, the first thing was he and I getting inducted into the Hall of Fame at the same time, that was kind of surreal. That was a moment where I was like, wow, this is crazy. And then, you know, being in this situation here, this is another thing that, you know, I'm like the Forrest Gump of the MMA world. You know, from the very beginning, I mean, I was sharing a room with Randy Couture, who I had just met when Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz fought for the first time at this hotel. I was just thinking about that. A friend of a friend, and we were all crashing in Randy's room, and the experiences I've had throughout this career have been amazing, and I continue to have new awesome moments, and this is definitely going to be one of them.
I feel like Urijah could get the news that he's going to the moon on his phone, and he just kind of go, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah. So if you may just tell Kazushi Sakuraba, I mean, this is a Hall of Fame fighter, even geeking out on just because he was a fan first, and now he gets to compete against them. Same way we did it as fans, even a professional fighter. That's just how many people he's touched in combat sports. Hi, folks, one quick reminder here. We will be talking to Tom Vaughn in the second hour, Niko Montana's manager. She was stripped this weekend, and we do plan on covering that in just a few minutes. UFC 228 will have the full coverage here on MMA Junkie Radio. Right now, we're joined by Urijah Faber and Kazushi Sakuraba here in studio.
It's a dope shirt, by the way.
Yeah.
That's talking about Urijah.
Okay.
My pleasure.
All right, well, we look forward to you guys competing on October 5th for sure. We will be there. It's going to be a great time. Urijah, just quick out of you. Your foot okay? Something happened in Singapore a few weeks back, but you're
you
good?
know what? It was never really that bad.
Yeah.
But it lingered.
Breaks?
It lingered for like months. I had like a bruised bottom of my foot for like up until just recently.
Yeah.
I like get up in the morning, I wouldn't feel it all day, and then get up in the morning and it'd be like a tender walk to put my shoes or sandals on. And no, but I'm good. Yeah, I just got ran over, no big deal.
Yeah.
Another day in life.
I was wiping the crust out of my eyes, just kind of checking up, and I see Urijah almost fights taxi driver. I go, that's an old one. That was Indonesia. And I go, wait a minute, Singapore. Hold on a second. I had to figure this thing out. But I'm not gonna make him tell it. It's on YouTube, but check it out. He's something about you going down to Southeast Asia. You almost always get into it with someone.
You know what? I didn't almost get into it. I had to. We all hugged it out. Didn't
the guy put his hand on you and you were like?
I was like, bro.
Pissed.
Yeah, he kept telling me to calm down after you ran over my foot. I'm like, he told me to stop moving because I was jumping around like in pain, and I was like, bro, get your hand off me. But it was brief.
Yeah, it
was brief.
They're just on the wrong side of the road. It threw you off.
You know, it was on the wrong side of the road. There was no one coming, and I was already standing in the same spot. Yeah. So, I don't know how the heck that happened, man.
And by the way, Bizarre. Do you get any more offers to get into MMA still?
Yeah, there's offers. I'm still under contract with the UFC.
Yeah.
I'm still in the USADA testing.
Okay.
Of course, there's offers on other organizations and whatnot, but I'm a UFC guy. They have me under contract. So if I ever were to come back,
it'd be for the UFC.
It'd be for the UFC, most likely, unless they, for some reason, were like, hey, go, feel free to take off, but that's not. I don't think that's the case.
One last thing here, because I know you guys got to get going on Team Alpha Male. It was great to see that Holdsworth's name's there. We've known him here through Las Vegas.
He's not competing anymore.
No,
we wanted him to, and I actually have Dustin Akbari right here with me. I was hoping he would jump on. Dustin Akbari, he and I started Team Alpha Male together, and he was 14 at the time, and he was on home studies from He was an immigrant from Iran and was on home studies just doing jiu-jitsu because his parents let him follow his passion. And he had a key to the gym, and he and I would go in just by ourselves. I would show him wrestling. He would show me jiu-jitsu, and this is 2003. And so this is really cool. Now he's a world champion, and he's one of the captains of our team, and help us put this thing together.
Do you have your members?
Yeah, we have our members.
Who are they?
Yeah, we have a guy that you guys probably have not heard of. His name is Joud.
Okay.
And he's a Brazilian heavyweight.
Okay.
And that's Anton Joud. And so he's about 230. And then we have another guy that is named Kelly Knudsen, and he's right there near us in Reno.
Yeah, he fought for Bellator a few times.
Yeah, fought for Bellator a couple times, and he's a heavyweight as well. And then we've got Munch, Manshir, who's come and train with us quite a bit.
All right.
And so Fabio helped us put those heavyweights together, and hopefully those guys will have a relationship with the team going forward as well.
Okay.
And then we've got Dustin Ekbari and Munch took Holdsworth's spot. Holdsworth was going to do it, and then he decided not to at the last minute.
Still the concussion thing, or?
I don't know.
All
I'm
right.
not sure what.
Well, we love that kid, so hopefully
he just put it on me 2 days ago, so it's not the concussion.
Okay.
Thing.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for announcing that it'll be you versus Kazushi Sakuraba. Again, you heard it, folks. Quintet 3 on October 5th. Urijah Faber versus Kazushi Sakuraba. That will be the first matchup of the night. The fight card starts at 7 p.m. And again, it will be on the UFC Fight Pass. Tickets are available on Ticketmaster, and $43 gets you in the door. So check it out. Also, that night, Dustin Ekbari. We have Gregor Gracie, Marcin Held, and of course, the War Master, Josh Barnett, as part of Team Sakuraba. All right, folks, stay close. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Fight Nation, Channel 93.
They taught Andy Griffith how to whistle. Here are Gorgeous George and Goes.
All right, we're back here on MMA Junkie Radio on the new Fight Nation. We're all a little giddy right now. We're not going to sound like our normal selves because for everyone involved, and I'm not even going to say that thing where you say, well, I can't speak for Dan, I can't speak for George. I'll fucking speak for everyone when I say this.
Do it.
This is pretty cool to see legends of our sport be in the studio like this. Let alone over the phone would be great, but in studio is just incredible. So we're very honored and happy that this happened. So Dan can attest, we're like shaking under the table, freaking out. So it was a really good time, and we're really happy about that. But the first hour here is coming close to an end, and we got a couple phone calls. I know a lot of you people want to sound off on what happened this weekend. Some big news. Obviously, I think you understand why we went the route we did, but we will get to that big news. What's up, George?
Showtime?
Yeah, we're talking. Right?
Oh, we're talking. Okay, I thought we were in commercial.
No. Well, we're getting ready to.
Yeah, we are. So this is just a quick tease for the next hour. Dustin Akbari, who was mentioned by Urijah Faber a few minutes ago, he'll sit in with us. We'll talk a little bit about UFC 228. We'll talk about Dustin. Maybe he'll tell us who his matchup is. Maybe he won't. I don't know. Some of the guys have the loose lips. Others have to be a vault. But either way, we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about Team Alpha Male. And we'll talk about, of course, UFC 228. So stay close. It's the MMA Junkie Radio show on SiriusXM's Fight Nation Channel 93. We'll be right back.
He's doing the cholo. What a Viking! I always get like super dry in Vegas, like.
Here we go. It's the second hour of the MMA Junkie Radio Show. Sticking around for the second hour is Urijah Faber and Dustin Akbari, who co-founded Team Alpha Male. Did I say that right, Urijah?
Yes, sir.
Co-founded Team Alpha Male
Yes,
in 2003. So he's going to jump on here as well. Urijah was in the middle of a story, though. You said your favorite Sakuraba moment was what?
Well, this is my favorite fight of all time, and I don't know if you guys can ever find it, but Sakuraba, you know, in the Pride days, they had him as retiring, and he got on the mic to do an interview at one of their big shows, and just said to the crowd, "I will be fighting at this date," and it was not something that was signed or anything else. He just said that so that he could, you know, get the crowd pumped up, and even though he was retired or whatnot. So then they wouldn't let him fight, so he somehow goes over to Heroes and takes a fight, and he fights this, I think he was a Russian guy, somewhere from that community.
I remember this.
And this guy
He hit him bad.
beats the crap out of Sakuraba and pretty much knocks him out, but they have a ring, so you know, the fans love Sakuraba, the Japanese fans love Sakuraba, and this guy beats the crap out of Sakuraba for the first part of the fight, and Sakuraba's kind of out of it, but he's somewhat in the outside of the ring, so the referee stops it and grabs his legs and shakes him and brings him back in bounds and lets the guy restart in a dominant position on Sakuraba, and Sakuraba takes that time to recover and then outlast the guy and ends up beating the guy, beating the crap out of the guy, and I think he beat him by submission at the end of the day,
He choked him,
just
right?
because he had so much heart, and you know, he was basically knocked out, given a second chance, shooken and dragged in, and then finds it in his heart to come back and beat this guy. He just had more heart, more tenacity than the other guy. That's the only way he won. So that's what I loved about Sakuraba.
And standing next to him, I mean, he's not that big of a dude.
No.
And I fucking stayed up till 2, 3 a.m. and I seen him against Kevin Randleman and so many fighters over the years. And I think to myself, oh my God, I'd be frightened to be fighting Kevin Randleman, and this dude
Rampage 3
fought
times?
him. You know what I mean? Vanderlei 3 times. I mean, Jesus Christ! It's all what you got here, and if you train right, you can do it all. By the way, let me run through the Twitters real quick. Sakuraba's was at @KS_Saku39. That's SAKU 39. Dustin Akbari, just like his name, at Dustin Akbari. Welcome to the show, Dustin. How you doing?
Glad to be here.
All right, Urijah Faber at Urijah Faber. I'm at MMA Junkie. George Goes is at The Goes. And Dan Tom over there, our fight analyst, he's at Dan Tom MMA. Barnett's was at Josh L. Barnett. Remember, it goes down on October 5th. Quintet number 3, first time in North America. It's available on the UFC Fight Pass if you can't get to Vegas. But otherwise, get to Vegas. And if you're going to be in Vegas already for UFC 229, everything that goes with that, tickets start at $43 at the Orleans Arena. Fights are at 7 p.m. and the first one is Urijah Faber versus Kazushi Sakuraba. How crazy is that? Dustin, you're grappling.
Yes.
All right. We don't know your opponent just yet, though.
I don't either.
Somebody texted me and said, I think it's Barnett. You ready for that?
You know, to be honest, like, they're legends. I got nothing to lose but to have fun out there.
Go for the draw, right?
Dude, no, I mean, it's just fun.
Dustin's a submission artist,
He's a gangster?
No, I mean, hey, these are legends. I got honestly nothing to lose but to be aggressive out there, and really, it's more of an honor, you know. So it's not like I'm going out there like apprehensive. It's like, dude, you're going against Barnett and Sakuraba. Let it all hang out. Let's dance. But Barnett is a Viking. I just stood next to him, and he just raised his elbow, and I almost like wasn't in the picture. Like, it was crazy. He's huge.
Even the handshake is intimidating, isn't it?
Yeah. He's an intimidating guy.
Appears in his hand. It's weird.
Yeah, but it makes it more fun, though.
And how does that work? When do you find out? Is it
I don't think we find out till right after the first match. I think they just made this a special case where they do the first matchup.
Oh, okay.
Because
so it's like a quick cuddle and then someone goes out.
So then I think whoever wins gets their the other team gets their choice of who they send out next. And so it can be at the moment, so you don't know who you're going to get. And the cool thing about this is you only stay in if you get a submission. So if Sakuraba can submit me, he stays in. If I can submit him, I stay in. And the goal is take out as many of their team as possible before getting eliminated. And if there's no submissions, then both guys get eliminated.
So you, as a team captain, will you decide, or is it because you're going first and you might win that you would decide?
I think I'm going to let Dustin be the team captain on this one because I mean I'm putting the Fabio Prado and myself and Dustin are compiling the team, but at the day I'm going to let Dustin probably make the call on who goes out next against what opponent because he's fully engulfed in the jiu-jitsu community, competing on a regular basis. He's a world champ. He's a guy that's in touch with everything. I don't know who's who, to be honest.
What's the difference between, hey, this is what will make the team win, and I've always wanted to grapple that guy, like letting your ego get the best?
No, not the ego. I mean, it's just like, not the ego. It's not like you're, like, if to go against Josh Barnett, it's not more ego. It's more like, it's an opportunity. It's not only is it a huge threat, but a huge challenge.
Right.
But maybe he's a legend. So I've always watched him growing up since I was like 13, 14 years old. Same as Sak.
Well, maybe I've said ego because just me alone.
You want to beat up Josh Barnett?
Well, no, not that. What I'm saying.
Josh, get in here.
No.
Just joking.
No, what I'm saying is. Here alone, I said, "Oh, you wouldn't want to go," and then you guys stood up and go, "No, man, we'll go against it." So you see what I'm saying? Like part of it could be like, "No, I can show."
It's the incredible challenge at hand.
But we're gonna, as a team, we're gonna try to win this thing because we want to keep competing. I mean, this is a sport that I love. It's the brainchild of Sakuraba. I mean, he's such a creative dude. He's always been like that in his fighting style. But we want to continue to do this and be able to let our team grow and be the guys that are the champions. Like, who won it last one was
Polaris.
Polaris and 10th Planet, are the two winners of the first two quintets. And they're going to be matched up on this occasion.
Polaris would pretty tough.
You think Polaris?
They're probably
who won the second one? I thought that was 10th Planet won the second one.
They did. Polaris won the first, and 10th Planet won the second. And they're going to face off against each other in the first round of Quintet 3.
Right.
And then you guys against Team Sakuraba.
Yep.
That's what they announced before you jumped on. And then
very cool.
Your matchup was the only one that was revealed, you versus Sakuraba.
Yeah, and I think they're doing that. That's just to get the ball rolling, and then I think we'll get to choose who goes up next out on the moment. I don't think we're going to be preemptive with that.
Is your MMA fighting career done, by the way?
Yeah, it's been done for a while.
Since 2010?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes,
correct.
5-1
broke my heart, unfortunately. Dustin, in my opinion, had the ability to be a world champion, but he decided that jiu-jitsu was his world, and he's been thriving at it. So we're pretty happy. And he also runs one of the best jiu-jitsu in kids programs in the world, which is right out of our gym. So we're pretty pumped on that.
I just love the competition aspect. That's why going against somebody like Josh Barnett. I mean, even though he's a huge challenge, but not only are you get to compete with a legend. I mean, it's a challenge, but it's something that you want. You know what I mean? I don't see why I would turn that down. So I believe in myself, but it'd be nice to get a big win against somebody you grew up like watching.
You cripple their team, kind of,
Yeah, but it's like, I mean.
All right. Every in-studio guest, we always ask this question. I'm not just singling you out. Can you share a good street fight story with us?
Well, his street fight stories are in the as a kid in Iran.
No, I beat up some Iranian kids. I mean, no, but I had to. Okay, I have some Persian fans out there, but yeah, just not too long ago, one of my friends.
Main Streets of the 916.
Dude, one of my friends was like outside. He was talking to like this Samoan guy's ex-football player. Apparently, there's a bunch of douchebags in the bar.
In Sacramento.
Yeah, in Sacramento. It was called. I'm not going to drop the bar name. But anyways, he goes outside, and what I see is just him getting clocked and dropped. And
Your
he starts.
buddy?
My buddy, yes. I'm not going to name drop.
Okay.
But he's but anyways,
is he a professional fighter?
He's one of my students.
Oh, okay.
Black belt. Okay. But anyways,
and the Samoan clocked him.
Yeah, but he started clocking everybody. But as he came through the door, what do you know? Lo and behold, I just sneak in and I get a body lock on this big Samoan guy. But I don't think
finally manscaped ninja,
dude. So I got a massive body lock on this football. But he was, I don't know what he was on, but he was messed up. And then I lift him off the ground, and he's a football player, so I don't want to guess weight. But let's say he's around. He's big. Okay, he's Samoan. He's big. So I lift him off the floor and I dip him on his shoulder, head, and then basically he's bleeding pretty good. But he knocked out like I'm kidding you not. He got back up. He got kicked out. I was like, no, call the police because I hold him down. I was like, you got to get this guy out. He's gonna get up. He got up and he started knocking out the owner, the bartender. And then as I came out of the bathroom, I was washed off his blood. And I look out, and everybody's just getting laid out outside. So I run out, and I had quick footwork, So I started, and I was like, "I let you live, mother," I let you live. And I did the foot shuffling that Muhammad Ali does, and I was like, "What?" And then he tried to rush me. He was too slow. Anyways, after a lot of, talking smack, I got him 7 blocks away, and then he was way too far to come back to the bar. I just let it go.
You're a hero.
That would be one of my favorite lines ever in a street fight. I let you live.
Oh, that's you said that to Dominic.
I said, I did say that.
Yeah. Guys, just real fast.
I don't want to share that, by the way. I'm sorry.
We pulled it out of you.
Sorry.
What were your thoughts of UFC 228 on Saturday? Pretty cool card,
man.
Huh?
I thought that was awesome.
Crazy finishes and then the title fight.
Yeah, Woodley. I mean, talk about a gifted athlete that has the right focus. He's one. I think one of the things that's most impressive about him is how consistent and stable he is. And as a fighter, sometimes that's hard to find. Even the champions, you have turmoil that's helped create this beast. I feel like he's a steady dude that understands work ethic, understands the mentality, and keeps on improving. And until, what a stud, man. He's young. He'll be back for that belt again. I love his attitude and the way he carries himself also. So that fight to me was pretty awesome.
What do you think, Dustin?
Well, I'm a huge Woodley fan. He invited me up for pizza. He was the most down to earth guy. After that, I was like, bro, he was just so cool. He didn't even know who I was. He was like, hey, you want some pizza? I think to forget simple gestures like that leave a huge impression on people. But he didn't know who I was. Mm-hmm. He invited me upstairs. He wants some pizza, and I'm like, oh, cool. I'm just hanging out with him, just very down to earth, but also badass. Doesn't mind just shooting the shit with just the people around him, and one of my favorite guys.
So let me borrow you for this quick segment here, because I know you guys got to get going. This is just a discussion that's been going on, but this is our daily debate to you for today, brought to you by the MMAjunkie Radio team, and I want you guys to weigh in. Who would win a welterweight fight between George St. Pierre in his prime and current UFC champ Tyron Woodley, who took out Darren Till on Saturday at UFC 228. Goes, you go first.
That's why it's the daily debate. Yeah. It is a very tough question. It's one we thought about a lot. I could see it going a lot of different ways, but when I look at their skill sets, I spent too much time there. I'm going to focus on the mental, and I think that's where GSP is going to win the fight. I'm going to go with the prime GSP.
Mm-hmm. All right, Dustin, how about you?
That is super hard, but
he gave you pizza, dog.
I'm going. I'm a big fan of GSP, but because of the threat level of Woodley, I would say if it was going to get finished, it'd be Woodley. If it goes to a decision, I would say GSP.
Mm-hmm. All right, Uriah?
I'm going to say, looking at this, first and foremost, I think the mentally stronger guy is actually Woodley. He's suffered some losses also. He had a big knockout against him. Marquardt back in the day. That was a long time ago. Matt Serra was the big knockout for GSP that kind of surprised everybody. But for me, when I say which guy likes to fight more, I would say probably Woodley. They're both extremely gifted athletes. I think that was one thing that people tend to forget about with GSP. If you look at the bottom quarter or bottom half of GSP, he could have been an athlete in a lot of different ways, and that's the same with Tyron Woodley. So I think that's kind of a wash. And then the wrestling, GSP's biggest strength is he would take down guys and out grapple them. And I think Woodley's a high level wrestler. So I think in all shapes and form, aside from the kicks, I would say kicks, GSP, everything else, Woodley. So I'd say Woodley.
Check this out. I'm going to answer a lot of questions. I think Tyron Woodley became the second greatest welterweight of all time on Saturday. That was a masterful performance versus Darren Till, but that's a sport title defense. GSP had 9, so GSP still the #1 welterweight for me of all time. If you're wondering who the other 5 are, it's Matt Hughes at number 3, and then I believe number 4 would be Pat Miletich, and then number 5 would be Ben Askren. Shout out to Jake Shields and Robbie Lawler as well. But the question here, I do think Tyron Woodley could beat GSP. So his career hasn't made him the greatest welterweight of all time, but I believe the matchup is Woodley has a lot of the strengths that can stop what GSP strengths were, but he's got that one punch power, and he was a savage on Saturday, man. There was no chess playing. He actually wanted to make a statement, and he did. So those are my thoughts. 59%, however, said it's GSP. 41% said it's Tyron Woodley. Over 1,500 votes came in. Thanks to Junkie Nation, our readers and listeners, for participating. All right, I know you guys got to get going. Dustin, good luck at Quintet 3. It was great to meet you.
Nice
Stop
to meet
on
you
by
too.
anytime you're in Vegas. We'd love to have you co-host a segment.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear about growing up in Iran, what brought you over to Sacramento, co-founding Team Alpha Male with Uriah, your the MMA career that you had, the grappling career that you currently have, stuff like that. So please stop by and take us up on that. Uriah, always great to catch up with you, my man. We look forward to seeing you grapple on October 5th.
Yeah, man, I can't wait.
All right, we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick commercial. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM's Fight Nation Channel 3. Shout out to Ant Evans for hooking all this up from the UFC. All right, we'll be right back.
King Kong has a lot of shit on them. Like a lot, especially Goes. Here are Gorgeous George and Goes.
All right, we're back here on MMA Junkie Radio, the new Fight Nation. Why don't we blaze through some of these calls? I know a lot of you want to talk about what happened at UFC 228. Great fight card overall. Before we get to these calls, just really quick, Dan, what were your thoughts on the card? Did you like it? Did you have fun?
It was a good card. Sorry, I was writing something down. Yeah, I mean, it was a good card from top to bottom. Usually when it starts out good, I'm like, okay, then the main card's going to suck. But the main card was good, and I watched it all the way through.
I just think we're at the point where we just can't predict it anymore. It's just unpredictable. There were a lot of people that were a little soured on Friday when we found out Valentina Shevchenko wasn't going to be able to fight, but it all just kind of worked out, and it was all a great card. And so we're very happy about that. And why don't we do this? Danny, can you patch through our first caller? We're going to talk to Pooh Man. Whoop. Sorry about that, George.
You got
what
it?
Up, Pooh Man?
Oh, shoot. What's going on, fellas? Fight Nation 93. It's been a minute since I talked to you guys before the break. How are you guys doing?
Not bad, man. Anytime we have a good card like this, it's always a lot more fun to come in on a Monday morning. And then when you add Josh Barnett, Urijah Faber, Sakuraba,
right?
How do you complain? It's a great Monday.
My God.
Go for it, man.
Gosh.
What do you got for us?
What a day. First off, tipping my hats. I was checking out some other stuff while I was on hiatus, and you guys are definitely the number one show, man. There's
Thank you.
Not even a close competition. I don't care what network they've secured themselves to and all these different things. You guys have something that nobody has. Not even in the shadow of you guys.
Thank you very much.
Kudos to you guys on that. And to all the junkies out there for being a part of that. Next, the card this weekend. Holy crap, man. Yeah, like you said, there's no more saying, the lineup of a card and saying, oh, you're not getting the value. Because like you said, you just don't know, man. The value in this card, we've seen now the birth of the next generation with Jeff Neal. The dentist, he came out and delivered. Everybody. We have what looks to be a female Khabib doing her thing. You know what I mean? We've seen a lot of things. The legends came out and they delivered. Everybody on this card just put it out there, man. This was, if you missed this card because you were upset and trying to hold your ground on, I'm not getting my value for this $60, you, like Showtime said, you're not a junkie and you're not a hardcore. If you opted out to miss this card. And then I was listening to Eddie a little while back talking about Quintet. I think Faber might be a little bit confused, but what happens is you spread out your team in the order you want them to perform, and the other team does it. You don't know what their order is. They don't know your order. So that's why they can announce the first fight, because, they obviously know who's first up. After that, it's just in the order that you put it.
Well, that's going to be a big relief to Urijah, right? According to Uriah's rules, guy, that would have been brutal.
What?
Yeah, you don't get to pick your next guy. Your next guy's already been picked.
Yeah.
So whoever you pick next is who steps out against, whoever's on the mat still.
Urijah was basically saying he just goes next and then again and again and again.
Uriah is so crazy that you could probably line up 20 guys and he'll just grapple them all, honestly.
Right.
But yeah, a little bit of this was that part I read up on in the morning and I wasn't sure. And because they were announcing the first matchup, even that threw me off because I knew that they may not know who they were going up against, but I thought maybe in North America they were doing it different, or maybe they were evolving, kind of like in UFC 1. There were no time limits, and then by the time we got to a few other UFCs, they started implementing a couple rules, and but
right.
Yeah, we can only go by what they tell us.
They know because both teams have submitted their card and what they think their lineup should start and finish as, but it's last man on the mat, so whoever wins stays, and then just the next guy off your list steps in. But it's it's you predetermined your lineup. It's crazy.
That's gonna be fun.
You can't be like, oh, I think this guy will beat him. You have no, it's just whoever you wrote next has to fight the guy on the mat.
Well, we're looking forward to it.
Pretty crazy.
It's going to be fun, and we're going to be there, and it's going to be one of the junkie gathering activities. So after the weigh-ins, maybe we'll all just trickle over to the Orleans Arena and grab some food there if Ghost thinks that's the spot to do it at. If not,
trickling over. I might sleep there the night before because I don't want to miss the first match.
Right. Well, the weigh-ins will be over at 4:30, so that gives us a couple hours to go from T-Mobile to Orleans. What I'm saying is, if Orleans has a good spot to get a bite to eat, we'll eat at Orleans, and if not, then we'll be so full from Texas Day, Brazil. Who knows what we'll be thinking. Pooh Man, thank you very much for calling in. We got to move on, all right, brother?
Last one. Hey.
Unless you got a last one. If you got a last one, let's keep going.
Last one.
All right.
Like a daily debate. If you guys had the chance to now, because of how good you are, be stars on a big network, but have to leave behind, that close relationship with Junkie Nation, would you guys do it?
Explain that again?
He wants to know if we would sell out.
Oh, he hung up on that.
What does he mean?
If we had the chance to be on a big television network, would we leave behind?
Like, let's just say ESPN.
Yeah. Would we do it?
And so let's just say ESPN called us the Two Dorks MMA show, or Three Dork MMA show.
Yeah, but that's kind of messed up to you guys.
All right, so let's just say it's the Three Dork MMA show on ESPN. So we have no affiliation of calling ourselves junkies. I would still call myself an MMA junkie per se because of how much I love the sport. Ooh, you know, I don't know. It sounds like probably that something new would have to start up. You know,
maybe do this show like once a week instead of 5.
Yeah, I would fight. Yeah, like Ghost makes a good point. Maybe fight for something like that. But if they say, hey, it's a complete separation from MMA Junkie, then yeah, I guess the new team would stay with MMA Junkie, and then maybe something new is created. I don't know, but that's just kind of like one of those what ifs, I guess, that we ask. Let's go to the next guy, Hal from Chicago. What's up, Hal? How you doing?
Ooh, good, man. How are you?
Good, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, people are talking about Quintet, but nobody's talking about the other BJJ events, Quartet. It's being promoted by Gigi, which is going to be great. The only thing is that no matchups have been announced yet.
Pretty good.
I'm just kidding. We do have a few. Thank you. We do have a few announced. Mark Ford is going to be captain of Team Haters. He'll be representing the Army Combatives, and then we got Juan Lee with Team WWE, and then Johnny Rico will be captain of Team Netflix. It should be great. So all the junkies are going to come out. I told you guys about Woodley. I called it. The mush is gone. All right, killed it in football yesterday. So you guys are ready to take my picks. Let me know. You know what I mean? So what do you guys think? Manchester United all day next week. Can I bet them now?
No, because here's what happened. You expended all of your mush energy on the USC Trojans. Yeah. Thanks for doing that. And then that's why you were free to make that pick in MMA. Your mush meter had dropped.
Oh, so I got to recharge it every week.
Yeah, you recharge it. You can't mush everything, so you have to have some winners. And your mush meter had already been decimated on the Trojans.
All right, wait. What do you guys think we should get next? I think even though I'm really getting tired of his shtick, but I think Colby's the fight. And
there's no way around it.
You know, I wish GSP would come out and fight Woodley. That would be the fight, right? I guess is that impossible, or is that still a possibility?
Well, with GSP, anything's crazy. With Connor, anything can happen. I don't know if crazy is the right word. Anything can happen. Yeah. So Dana White's already committed to Tyron Woodley versus Colby. He actually said the winner of this fight versus Colby Covington, and Tyron was actually open to it because I think he's just done with the call-outs or done with the speculation of the this or the that, and so he just said if he's next, he's next. He actually said Colby Covington a few times, no longer referring to him as Queefington. So I think he also sees the value of just how much that fight will sell. You know, Tyron turned quite a corner. You know, he had a lot of check marks on Saturday. He may actually be a superhero going into this fight against the villain, whereas before it was just a UFC fighter who happens to wear a belt versus a villain. But now he actually may wind up being a superhero just because he was exciting. He got all the respect from UK people, their Intel people, people that were calling him boring, this, that, whatever. So this could be a really, really big fight. So I think that's why he just realizes it. And I think he just wants to move on. I mean, he was the man. I can't say enough about this guy, and I'm sorry we haven't been able to say much about him, but I can't wait to really talk in depth about UFC 228. Thank you very much for the call, Hal.
Hey, cool. Stung on for Luke Thomas. He was calling everybody who called Woodley boring. He said, he tweeted, eat shit. Hey, take it easy, Luke. Who are you, Woodley's mom? All right.
All right, we'll see you. Well, Woodley's not boring, but a few of his fights were boring. That doesn't make him boring. He has equity, from in his career on his resume from some exciting fights he's had. But I think any fan had every right to say, well, I thought this fight was boring or that fight, whatever one you want to point to. A few of them he had his reasons for, like especially the one with Damian and the torn labrum. But there's been a couple others that, as much as he said or whatever he had to offer, most people weren't going to say that. Now, I know Luke loves wrestling, so he has an appreciation for a little bit more of a chess match sometimes. But I'd have to hear how he said it or whatever. But I don't think anybody that called said Tyron Woodley had boring fights was crazy or nothing. Let's talk to Kevin in Chicago. What's up, Kevin? How you doing?
What's up, guys? But how about how big Darren Till is? Oh my goodness, isn't he so big? Darren Till is so big. Wow. Yeah, that mattered about zero. It didn't matter at all. I'm looking at Darren Till's record, and he's fought 6 times in the UFC, and 4 of the guys he's beat and one had a draw with aren't even in the UFC anymore. They fast-tracked this kid to the title, 25-year-old kid to the title, didn't even prove himself, and everybody's saying, oh my goodness, look how good Tyron is. Darren Till shouldn't even have been in the title shot.
Oh, why not?
Darren Till didn't prove himself.
I mean, he beat Stephen Thompson. Stephen Thompson was the #1 contender at the time when he beat him. So to say he didn't belong there, that would be well, he got a W. Somebody got a W and somebody got a loss. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, but he shouldn't even have been in that fight with Thompson in the first place. He was ranked, what, like 8th, and he got...
But he was, and then he beat him.
Yeah, but I think he got a gift decision in there.
But whatever it was, he won. You see what I'm saying?
Or the judges...
I mean, someone could argue if they really wanted to, hey, Woodley drew him the first time he fought him. Till actually beat him. And I'm not defending Till, but I'm saying, Kevin, sometimes you come in, you have really good takes, and all right, you bust balls, you're the Monday quarterback or whatever, but we see your point, I'm going to laugh along with you. But then you say other stuff like he shouldn't have been there, and that I have to say, no, that's wrong because he did beat Thompson. So that's what you do is you start beating guys up. Till's undefeated. I think he's like 6-0-1 or something like that as a UFC guy, and then he gets that quality win over Thompson. Same way Kamaru Usman. Is he for real? This, that, whatever. Boom, he got the quality win versus Damian Maia, right, in Chile. Same thing with Colby Covington. Is he for real? This, that, oh, Colby Covington. Then he backed it up versus RDA. Those are the statements that mean something. So when they do, you can't take it away from those guys. And other guys that you may point to may not be able to boast having an undefeated record, or not only just your record in the UFC, but overall. So, plus, let's not forget the business component. There's a business component. Can the guy sell or not sell? And Darren Till can sell. So the UFC wasn't crazy to make that decision. The only thing you can say with the UFC and raise an eyebrow is like, hey, but he's coming off that weight loss, and that would have been proper criticism towards the organization. But they rolled with it. I guess they got word from Till, hey, I'm going to take this serious. Till did take it serious. He relocated. He suffered. He came in 1 pound underneath. And then they got themselves a fight. Now, where Till fucked up was he didn't fight. He was just too hesitant. He only threw 1 strike. He let Woodley get going. Woodley outfoxed him. The experienced guy outfoxed him. I think we all thought it was going to be slow. Could go to decision.
And he got the finish.
And Woodley hit that accelerator at 90 miles an hour and went after him. And by then, Till had accumulated too much damage before he got a chance to feel him out or see what it was all going to be, what all that was going to be about. So... like I say, Kevin, you make some great points, man, but sometimes you follow them up with some that just aren't as supportive. But we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. We got to move on. We got to take a commercial. It's SiriusXM's MMAjunkie Radio Show on the new Fight Nation Channel 93. Stay close. We're going to talk to Tom Vaughn, who is Niko Montana's coach, and we'll find out about all that, which we haven't covered, but we will when we come back.
Loud and too good looking. Once again, here's gorgeous George and Goes.
Today is Fantasy Football Reaction Monday on Fantasy Sports Radio. Here a complete recap of the week in fantasy football and call in to talk about your favorite team. Whether you want to brag about victory or need a shoulder to cry on in defeat. And if your game is still undecided, hear a preview of tonight's Monday Night Football doubleheader from the fantasy football perspective. Live Fantasy Football Reaction right now on Fantasy Sports Radio, Series 210, XM87, and streaming on your phone or at home on SiriusXM connected devices and speakers. All right, let's move on to our last guest of the day. Big shout out to Josh Barnett, Kazushi Sakuraba, Urijah Faber, and Dustin Akbar. They came by the studio earlier today, and now via the phone, we are going to talk to Niko Montana's head coach, Tom Vaughn. Hello, Tom. How you doing?
Hey, good, man. You guys got some pretty rocking music there in the background.
Thank you. Thank you. We did it just for you. It was between that and Taylor Swift, but we went with that.
Hey, I like it.
All right.
Cool.
Hey, you answered my question. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. But I know that 72 hours ago things weren't great. Your athlete Niko Monta, the former UFC flyweight champ. I know something scary happened there with the weight cut, and we were hoping you could maybe fill in some of those details. And then, of course, that was followed by the UFC removing her as the UFC flyweight champion. So I know things weren't great about 72 hours ago. But Tom, if you don't mind, can you take us through Thursday night and Friday morning and what happened?
Oh yeah, man, it was a nightmare. It goes back farther than that. After the show, Niko had a broken foot on the show. So after she won the Ultimate Fighter and won the title, she had to have her foot put in a boot. She was inactive for quite a while, so she got a little heavy. And when she finally got the boot off and started training again, then she was getting sick, like severe colds, and found out it was her tonsils infected, so she had to have a tonsillectomy. So she really had a series of things, and there's a lot of pressure to make this fight happen, like earlier than she wanted to, right? So that played into part of this, right? So the weight cut, the weight just didn't come off as planned, and here we are. I mean, it was a freaking nightmare.
Mm-hmm. It was what we read, and we're hoping you can clarify, is kidney failure. How was that determined? Is it just like, hey, it said something like the UFC's did it. Were the UFC people supervising like the end of the weight cut, or is that something she felt and she could point to, or is that something that was determined once she was at the hospital?
Yeah, you know what, man? I don't want to. Look, so there was UFC people around, right? So they were called in, and she was having some issues, and then they did a conference call with a doctor, or whatever. The decision was made to send her to the hospital right away, and then things just unraveled real quick. Mm-hmm. I'm still in disbelief that she was stripped of the title, from something that's happened to a lot of athletes that are still fighting in the same weight class. The other part of that is when they called me to tell me they were stripping her of the title, they were saying that Andy Foster from California now was going to make it difficult for Niko to ever fight at 125 again, which is just crazy because she's made that weight every time.
Tom, that sequence of events, it all just happened so quickly, and you're right, the stripping did come rather quickly. But had they given you the opportunity to kind of pitch why they shouldn't do it and what can happen from here on, what would you have told them?
Well, I'll tell you what I would have told them. We would send Niko to the Performance Institute for like a month straight under all their supervision, take their tests, take their body fat tests, do all that kind of stuff to ensure them that she can make the weight. Something that's just her metabolism slowed down during all this period of inactivity from being ill, and we would have sent her out to the PI and put her right there under their supervision and asked if they reschedule the fight. You know, they rescheduled a bunch of fights before. I mean, I love Max Holloway, but you know, come on, he's there at fight week, and all of a sudden they're rescheduling his fight, or he's got a medical emergency. I mean, how's that more of a medical emergency than what Niko had?
Would you have felt like an interim title situation would have been a better avenue to go through?
Yes, definitely. And I feel like, look, Valentina can fight for whatever they're going to put up, but she's not the champion until she beats the champion. They're the ones that set the rules. They made the show. They brought on all the girls that they thought were the best girls in the world at 125, and Niko beat them all.
Have you got?
You know, she won the show.
Did you get to that point in the conversation where sometimes the matchmaker, we've heard tell fighters, kind of give them almost like the homework assignment, right? Like, this is what we need from you to go forward. Did that even happen? Is there like an even bigger conversation that still needs to be had?
And the feeling was they were kind of washing their hands of this, right? Like the agenda felt like the whole time was to get Valentina into a title shot. I mean, we knew that. We were cool with that. And hey, look, when you watch and listen to the current champions, notice how they're saying what fights they'll take and what they won't, who's the next champion. You know, we didn't do any of that shit. They said Valentina. We said cool. I feel like Niko will beat Valentina, right? So, you know, the agenda was to get her in there. She's got, you know, she's marketable, Valentina, and you know she's pretty technically sound, and she's got a little bit of a following already. The UFC makes the biggest fights they can make all the time. I get that. They're a money machine. We understand that. But,
sorry.
You know, go, man.
Oh, no. Okay, well, this is what I was going to say. Now that what's happened has happened, I can't believe that. I mean, if I think Niko to the UFC Institute UFC Performance Institute is a great idea. And now what I'm wondering is, can Niko, with one fight, be right back in a title shot? So in other words, looking forward now, can all this just be corrected in about 6 to 9 months with her taking a fight, winning, and then fighting whoever gets matched up versus Valentina Shevchenko, whoever wins that matchup?
Yeah, I mean, we're wondering the same thing, but here seems to be the pattern. Tell me if you notice this. So when Dana White makes the decision, puts the smack down, then he just doesn't answer calls for a bit, you know, and he kind of goes through this period of time, and then he pops up like Colby Covington now as the next challenger, right, for Woodley, right? So he just went through this thing where, you know, he won the interim title, didn't, you know, the UFC pretty much gets what they want when they want it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they wanted to make the fight with him and Woodley, and when he said he had some I don't know, some sort of surgery, was it Covington?
He had nasal something with his nose, nasal passage.
Yeah, so they just what did they do? Just took his interim title,
right,
and made another fight,
right. I hear what you're saying,
and now. Yeah,
the wording of what they want to do definitely is convenient at times with what they would say. And I would say to you this, Tom, you gave some examples of like Max Holloway, and I know others have been brought up. And I think what it boils down to is not just, hey, is one athlete more sellable than the next, but at the same time, I think that those athletes, those other ones that we can point to, have just kind of had like a longer tenure with the UFC. Maybe they've done solids for the UFC, and should that be the way it goes? No, I like the NFL format. Hey, you win, you advance. You know what I mean? There's none of this, well, hey, back in the day, the Patriots did this for the league, or the 49ers did this for the league, and, you know, so we're giving them a pass. It's just basically, you know, set in stone, cut and dry. Whoever wins advances. These are the rules to get into the playoffs, this, that, whatever. With the UFC, we stopped trying to follow how they want to do it. Sometimes there's this explanation for this case, there's that explanation for that case. But what I've noticed is the longer tenure they have, the more you sell, the more passes you get along the way.
I mean, all businesses are like that, right? So, like, I'm not one of the guys that wants to bash the UFC for making as much money as they can make. Mm-hmm. That's what big business is, man. I mean, like, NFL is like that. Every cup you buy, every hat, every shirt, they're making money off of all that. So I get it. But there does need to be some set of rules that, like, people know. I mean, now will any champion in this weight be strict?
No, it won't be. It won't be that way. We won't be able. We try and go off precedents, but it's not going to work. I think the simple answer right now would be the champion didn't make weight, and therefore the division needs to move on. That would be the answer here. But if it happened in the future with a more popular fighter, I'm sure there would be a reason for why they're doing that, and we can't point back to. But in the Niko Monta case, this is what happened. I think that's the flexibility or the out that the organization gives itself. At times, it frustrates the media, it frustrates MMA fans, frustrates a lot of people, you know. But that's. Can I just go back to this is a business that's unpredictable, sometimes questionable. Some might say it can be dirty and underhanded at times. I don't know. You know, so it's unfortunate that your fighter got stuck in this.
Are they forcing the union situation themselves?
If the fighters, forgive me for saying this, if the fighters were smart enough to, as a group, collectively bargain, then yeah. I mean, but because they know that that's just not probable.
That kind of begs for a union to happen. I wasn't really behind that, but now I'm thinking, man, that's what unions are for, I guess, is so they can't just arbitrarily make rules.
Sometimes when we have discussions with people, the one thing we do ask them, though, is, how about this? Is there concession? So from your side, is there any concession to, hey, your fighter didn't make weight, we just need to move on, without going back and saying, well, you didn't do it with Max or you didn't do it with his other cases? What would be your answer to just that?
Well, we're definitely going to have to do that. We have to take responsibility for that part.
Yeah.
You know, well,
that's a respectable
exactly
answer.
What we got to do.
That's a respectable answer. You know, we all wanted to see the fight. I think at one point we'll all get to see the fight. And the good thing about this sport is it moves quick, Tom. And I know that right now these days must suck. But one more win, and I just don't see how you deny Niko Monta, because she had a great run on Tough, and she never lost the belt inside the octagon. Now, that said, within these 6 to 9 months, your only competition is the next fighter that picks up steam, you know what I mean, and all of a sudden puts themselves in a position where the UFC feels like, hey, that's a potential moneymaker. We got to push her.
Right. Who will it be? We don't know, but you know, it kind of became personal because Valentina, you know, I think said some stuff that just wasn't true, and or she had misconceptions. She thinks this whole thing was orchestrated to avoid fighting her, which is ridiculous. I mean, she's only got a couple of finishes in the UFC, and for all her striking expertise, is where her knockouts, you know. So we were worried about going out and getting arm barred. Yeah, no, that's not what happened. I mean, this was just an unfortunate thing with a weight cut, but it definitely wasn't designed to avoid her. So we hope she doesn't lose before we get back to her.
How soon do you think? I know you want to give the fighter some time off. How soon before you do come to the UFCPI and start the process of looking into another fight booking or whatever the next step may be?
October.
Okay.
October is it's already been booked. She's already going out there. So like we're fired up, and you know we're coming back for the belt. I mean, hey, to tell you the truth, we wouldn't mind Niko fighting Valentina's sister. You know, beat her up and then go back for Valentina.
Oh, okay. There's a statement right there. Yeah,
she has a booking now, but
I know the UFC loves them some storylines. Hey,
yeah.
Interesting. Well, sir, thank you
so
very much.
We're going to try to we're going to try to have Niko ready in case like her sister's opponent drops out or whatever, we're going to be ready. So I appreciate your time.
Tom Vaughn, folks, can be followed on Twitter at Tom Vaughn, TomVaughn MMA, and you can, for more information, go on Tom Vaughn and Fit NHB. It's fitnhb.com. Check it out. He is the co-owner of Fit NHB Fight Gym in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Tom, thank you very much for the time. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, we'll see you. All right, guys, I know we have just a couple minutes, so give me just a thought from this past weekend, UFC 228. We kind of touched on Woodley Till, if you want to go that way, cool, or the stripping of Niko Monta, or Jeffrey Neal, or the knee bars that were in effect. What do they call them? The Sulev?
Sulev stretch.
Yeah, Sulev stretches. Dan, you go first.
Just 3 words. Cover your ears, children. Jim fucking Miller. Go.
Okay, goes.
He kind of touched on the resurgence of some of the veterans, right? That we
Diego
thought
Sanchez.
were maybe going away.
I thought he was done.
That
man.
was pretty cool, dude.
I thought he was done.
Top to bottom, it was just such a fun card.
Yeah, and I heard somebody, one of the first callers when I was saying goodbye to our early morning guests, talk about you never know, you know. And we kind of talked about it as well. Wow. Sometimes you just want to do it because you want to make a statement, but God, a 12-fight card or 13-fight or whatever they do, I think they got one that's 14 that's coming up. You just know that there are going to be some moments like, okay, how do you equate what Jeffrey Neal did into money? You know, like, that's why I said, are you just paying for Woodley Till and maybe the co-main event? Is that worth the 65 alone? If it is, then shut up and everything else comes with it. Or are you looking to fill it? Is that $30 of what you're worth paying for? And the Valentina fight is another $10 and this and that. But how much is just Jeffrey Neal's head kick KO? That was vicious. You know what I mean? Or seeing Zabit and do his thing. Or, you know, and then there was a couple matchups that you thought, oh, these are going to be great. But, you know, like Dodson didn't really show up like I thought he would. And what can the UFC do? They put 2 ranked fighters in, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. So what you do is you just grab the whole card, shake it up, and just know that more than likely you're going to get your $65 worth. And you just got to do it, or you just got to look on Twitter and live through others. We decided to pull the trigger and check it out, and I had a great time on Saturday.
Worth it,
Yeah. All right, folks. Tomorrow, there'll be some more time to cover UFC 228. That's your slate. Who do we have?
Tomorrow we have Matt Riddle. We have John Orlando and Julian Marquez. But I don't want to give away what exactly they're going to be doing here. But it's going to be some sort of a press conference.
Well, we have plenty of time for UFC 228 talk, for sure. All right. Also, I know you and I talked. It's a pre-record with Roger Huerta. And we'll have that part of the show. On Wednesday, we are going to have Jeffrey Neal. We just booked that today, so it's going to be fun. And I'm sure we'll have other people as well. So tune in. All right. For Danny back east and Dan to my left goes. I'm George. Have a nice day. Go out there and be a champion.